Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got a cool different one today. This is something that I've just created. You may kind of recognize these types of things if you've got any idea about 3D printing. Now, this has been a replica that I absolutely love. I actually used it on Tuesday. I used my XM5 and then I used this, which is the Tokyo Marui Saiga 12 SBS. This thing is amazing in CQB. I rarely ever used it in terms of full auto, but this time I did, and it was absolutely amazing. This started to come a little bit loose, which was annoying. The stock is a little bit loose, it seems. I mean, it's not loose, but it's just shaking a little bit. Might have a little look at that and see if I can work out why that's moving slightly. But the main issue that I always have with this is this. Now I have found a way to attach this Vitatu light to it, and that really made a big difference because it meant I have flashlight on here and a laser. I have a tracer on the front of it, so that kind of like sorted all of my issues. Sorry guys, my 2-year-old just appeared at the side, my 3-year-old, sorry, appeared at the side there. Okay, so basically the issue that I've had with this is I cannot find anywhere a Saiga 12 SBS handrail. Like I can find it for the 12K, I can find it for nearly any other replica, but I bought a real steel kind of thing that I tried to mod. I just couldn't find anything. These aren't actually M-LOK, so I found a way to put this Vitatu light in here, as I said. Had to take off the handrail, run the M-LOK through that way because it would not fit directly as it should do if it was real M-LOK. And then I removed all the Picatinny rail segments on it because I just think it made it really bulky. Now this thing's pretty comfortable, but what I did find is someone has made, and I'll try and put a link down below, you have to buy the file, but someone's made a M-LOK Picatinny rail for this. Now it's got an upper and a lower kind of section to it, and it took about 4.5 hours to print it. This is literally one of my first ever airsoft print. I printed a couple of like little toys for my kids last night, but this is my first ever airsoft print, and it almost messed up. You might be able to see here, there's some little tangled pieces, and it seemed like it knocked a couple of the supports over. You can see in there. But it does seem to have printed okay. So I'm going to try and remove these supports now, and then we're going to do a quick install on this just to see what it looks like and see if it's actually going to work, because I'm really excited. Like, it's definitely fairly good quality, or it feels pretty good quality considering. But I may have to get some specific tools, which I don't really have to do this. But I thought, you know what, guys, if I'm going to get these supports out, it might be a cool thing to film, just so you guys can see what the process has been to potentially find this new rail for my SBS, and then hopefully if it's something that you like the look of, you may want to do it yourself. But I can already see like there's little parts of the support there in the kind of attachment between the upper and the lower, so I'm probably going to have to get some kind of like knife and get through there. You can see here that's where those supports failed. They basically kind of fell off, so the printer, the nozzle was just putting tiny, it was basically creating spaghetti, as they call it, I think in the biz, which was kind of annoying. But to be honest, it made it out. It was like halfway through the print and I'm like, oh no, please don't mess it up. I've wanted one of these for a while just to do other stuff as well, not just airsoft. Obviously airsoft's going to be a big part of it, and I've got some ideas for products I might try and put out there. But mainly because like I just spend a huge amount of money on Amazon. Careful, I just cut myself. Buying, you know, like, oh, I need a doorstop, or I need like a catch for this, or a hook, or and so I thought, you know what? There's a new 3D printer out that looks really easy to use, because I'm not as technically minded as a lot of you guys are. And it's kind of just plug and play. So I thought I will go with it and we will see what we can do. And I already think that I'm really happy with this purchase. Like, I think part of it's like, you know, that little boy just building stuff, and it's so satisfying watching this thing create. I have to say, like, it's kind of addictive, just addicting, or you get addicted just to watching it. And this thing has a camera in it. I actually have done a couple of clips of halfway through the print, so I'll put those at the end of this video so you can watch it. But I'm actually going to, in future videos, if I'm doing prints, you can do like a time lapse of it building. And so I'm going to start capturing those. I just needed a flash drive to put them onto, but I'm going to try and capture those, and then I'll show you guys what I print, the install, and then I'll actually do like a little video or a short of what it's like to like how it was built, do the time lapse on it. So I think this is looking pretty great. There is one area here where I think that spaghetti little zone kind of went a bit weird. So that's where that support just wasn't fully there. Everything else on this looks pretty great. I have to say, like, I've got some scissors here. So what I'm going to do is just snip this, or try and snip this a little bit. But I think other than that, that is it. Like this thing actually as well, the upper, which I've just removed the bits, it printed at an angle like that. I'll show you in the video at the end, so stay tuned. But I was amazed that, in fact, one of the supports actually went on that one. And I was like, oh, this thing's going to fall over. There's no way it's going to make it. And it ended up being absolutely fine. So I'm kind of glad. I was like, oh, should I just restart the print? And then I thought, you know what, we might as well just see if it makes it. Like, this is one of my first prints I'm doing. And it definitely seemed to go through it. Like, this thing's got one of those like cameras where it like warns you and says like, oh, we've detected this and detected that. So I was very concerned it would not continue the print and just say, you know, we're not actually able to finish this. So I need to get basically these little pieces just out of here, these supports that are in here. I'm going to try and do it quickly now so you guys can see it, but I want this to be a short video. So what I might end up doing is just basically mounting this, because all I need to do is basically put the 2 screws in the bottom. And then once I've done that, I'll just sit the upper on there and see if it lines up, and we'll get a good idea then just of what this is going to look like. And then I'll do an update video where I show you what it's like, what the build now looks like, because I've made a video on this before, and if you follow the channel you may have seen it, but I do change my builds, you know, like they actually do, I update them. And so obviously it's great that I've got these build videos, but I almost need to make like a phase 2 or a phase 3, because when I change out different parts, I add a rail, kind of makes those build videos cool to watch, but they're not really updated, or they're not up to date. Okay, there's a bit there. I just don't want to break it. I've got a feeling I'll end up rushing this to make the video shorter for you guys. I'll end up snapping it and then I have to reprint the whole thing. But those are what's inside that right there. So I think I've cleared that one out. This tool actually is pretty good. I was thinking I don't have the right tool to do this, but the scissors actually seem like they're like perfect width to get in here. Obviously you can see that this is 3D printed, like you can see there. I used a thin plate on this side with a very smooth one. That side you can see the lines, but I'm really impressed just with how solid it feels. It definitely, like, I don't think it's going to be an issue when it's on the replica in terms of like strength of having the attachments on it. Which obviously is something like I want a metal rail ideally. I mean, right now it doesn't have a metal rail on it, so I'm not kind of as worried with this one. Obviously, I think if it was like an M4 AR base, I'm very unlikely to put a polymer handrail on it. Just because I think it's weird. Like, it may look kind of the same, but to me, just handling it and having like that in my hand and how light it is, it just doesn't feel right. So, okay, so I think I've done those 2 pieces. And it might not be 100% clear, but they're pretty good. Let me just do these bits on the inside, because I think this is going to be the only kind of issue that we're going to arise, because obviously it has to sit around the around the barrel. And if this is sticking out slightly. But it's amazing when you're seeing it print, you can see the intricacy of like what's inside. You almost think like, oh, it's just a bit of plastic, you know, like solid piece of plastic, but there's actually like structures to it where it's like, you know, crisscross inside. It's kind of like hollow, but almost like a reinforced structure. So when I'm seeing that go up, I'm like, okay, well, hopefully that means that this thing is going to withstand a lot of stuff. I'm going to say that, and then as soon as I finish saying it, I'm going to be like, okay, right, it snaps in my hand. I don't want to jinx myself. I shouldn't say that. But that's the other thing. I feel like when I'm holding this, I'm like, you know what? Worst comes to worst, I can just reprint it. The print itself cost $14. So it's not free. I mean, you could design it yourself, but I do not have the capability for that. So I ended up paying for it, which again, I'm not mad about, because I think this is going to be a far superior product to anything that I could build. Look at all this like wasted material here. So that's another thing. Like when I'm going through it and I'm watching the thing build, I'm like, there's no way I've got enough material on that like spool. But actually, like, it's hardly used any of it. Like, there's a lot of plastic on those spools. I mean, it's not hardly used any of it. It's used some, but it was not even close to being... Like, I'll look and, like, at the spool, and then I'm like, okay, well, is there going to be enough? This is going to be close, because I know how big the handrail is going to be. And as it's, like, winding out, I'm like, oh, God, I don't know if this is going to be the right size. Or am I going to have to like pause the print, go out and buy some, or wait for it to be delivered? Which should probably be the worst thing, like sitting there with the printer, unable to use it. Or scrap the print you're doing and then... Okay, sorry guys. I said I'm not going to like go through and do all this if it was going to take too long, but I feel like I'm close. I've ordered like a set of tools to actually do this properly so that I'm not using a pair of scissors, potentially cutting myself. Okay, that's pretty much done. That's done. And this very close. That is pretty much done. Okay, so I think that this hopefully will go... I'm trying to think which way this is going to line up. Okay, so that's what this is going to look like. And already I'm like, that's a way nicer. It's a lot bigger, to be honest, but it is a lot nicer actual feel to it. This hasn't fully gone in on this side, so I just want to clear this out again. It's probably good, like, little compression in there. But if I can mount stuff to this thing properly, it's going to make a big difference. Like that was good putting that there, but I can't really add extra stuff to it if I want to. Like, I can't put different lights on it that might not fit in that rail system. Like that Vitatu light works really well just because it's kind of got this mount that hugs it. But if I want to put a different light on it, if I want to put a separate light and separate laser, that's going to be tough. Okay, I think we're good. It's like if there's just a tiny bit in there, it's going to basically keep it up and off. And I probably want to make sure that this fits. Okay, sweet. So that's fitted there. It's lined up for the holes. Yep. Poseidon series is the name of the file. As I said, I'll put that file down below so you guys can see that it's there. Well, this plastic goes everywhere, so you can see and download it. But I think it's $14, $13.99 or $14.99. Obviously, then you can print as many as you want. So if you've got 10 Saiga SBSs, you know, you're not buying multiple. You're just paying for the plastic. Plastic cost, I'm not sure exactly what it would be. One of those spools costs about $20. This is a Bamboo Labs one, and $20 is like, I didn't use half of it. So in terms of like cost of building it, I think it would probably about $6, something around there. Complete guess. But I can probably look at the file, or you can, and get an idea of what it says like how many grams the print will be. And that's including like the supports, the wasted, different things that you have on there. Just see this. No, that's not going to fit. Might need to quickly pause and go and get another set of Allen keys of hex wrenches. Okay, I'm going to pause for 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I always find it so weird. There's always like slight differences in the width of some of these hex wrenches, and probably one of you out there knows exactly why that is, but like I just end up using one that's slightly too small, like that, and stripping the actual screw, and then you're in a lot of trouble. That one's fine. That's the front screw, so we'll put that at the front. And this guy feels like it's fine. There we go. Yeah, like for me, that should be the exact same size as the other one, but it's not. Okay, so we'll pull this forward to make sure that we've got everything removed. Okay, this Vitar light is in place on here, and I think that's going to make life slightly more difficult in terms of getting this off. Also, the tracer unit may make that more difficult as well. You know what I need to do? Let's use the same sized hex wrench to remove the actual screws. That's the issue. So I threaded the like mounts through, but the actual screws themselves are going to sit deeper. So I think I can now pull that off. Yeah, and you can see the damage I just did there by ripping the screws out. So be careful with doing that. Now what I'm hoping will happen is I can just kind of squeeze this guy on. Now, one thing to bear in mind is this tracer may need to come off, and I think that's going to be the case because, and it's the same size hex again. Like, I don't understand. I get no luck with any hex screws, and then suddenly all of them match, apparently. Which I'm not going to complain about. Okay, so we'll remove that. Now, let's just slide over the end. Okay, that's the way to do it. Although, this now looks like that's not going to fit. So, if you look here, that's actually slightly too wide. Look at this, like a little plate that's going to go in there. So it says this is for the SBS. And I think that the screws are not going to line up. So even though it says it's for the SBS, I think that this really is for the 12K. Especially there, because that is not lining up either. So what we may have just discovered, guys, is this is not going to fit the actual SBS, and it is only going to fit the K. I can probably remove this piece. And this might be because I've put this rail on. Maybe I'll see. Because all I really need to do, I think, is to... I mean, I don't technically need to have that on. So I need to slightly shave this down. So that's just going to be a file. And I don't think that's going to be an issue because it is just the width of it slightly. The screws, however, I can definitely put one in place. So maybe that's going to be enough. But it's not, it doesn't seem like that's the case. So sorry for this kind of video, guys, which hasn't really had a conclusion to it, but I would say that this file, which I'm going to put down below, really seems to be made for the Tokyo Marui Saiga 12K, even though, yeah, it is named as for the SBS. So I will do a little playing around with this. If I have a little clip at the end of this video in a minute, I'll show you that I actually managed to make it fit and what happened. If not, I'll come back with another video another time, but I have got some clips right now that you can watch just of the 3D print going. All right, thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye. Okay, guys, so sorry, just a little interlude. I've come back. So I have made it fit. I basically just needed to take a file and just rub the insides of here. There is only one screw that will attach it here as opposed to the two that it had previously. I think I could do a longer screw there if I wanted to. It wasn't fitting because I have this rail on here, this like folding rail there. I think actually what I could do is still keep this rail on because otherwise I'm going to have to move this actual, I'm going to have to move this red dot onto here, and I'm not sure if I want to do that. The other thing I need to do is just get screws. I only have silver headed ones, so I need to get some black head, and then I put this tracer back on the front. I do think that looks pretty cool, I have to say, but it fits well. The size is good. I like that I'm going to be able to probably put this guy onto the Picatinny on the top because I've now got Picatinny on the top, but that is going to be a bit of a deal breaker for me, I think, if I can't put this on. So let's just quickly see. And then I will show you the 3D printed video. But this is an aftermarket top rail, which allowed me to, they don't normally come with Picatinny rails on the top. So you have to put like a very far forward sight, which is what I might have to do with this as a alternative. Okay, and that's that one. Pretty tight screws. But the other thing that this did, I think this front attachment, is it secured the actual top cover on there better, which for an AK sight, top cover, when you've got that in place, is quite important. Otherwise, you've got quite a shaky top rail. So hopefully, okay, this isn't going to work because that basically needs, this won't fit underneath that actual that top cover where this one goes underneath. See how that just kind of like threads into that gap right there. This one, because it's thicker with that Picatinny rail on top, does not thread, which is why I had to have that top piece here, and that top piece is going to get in the way. I mean, I could probably just shave this here if I want to. In fact, that's probably what I'll do, and then I can just keep it in place, I think. So I'll try and do that now with a Dremel, but that'll be in another video. So if you guys would like to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Stay tuned right now and I will show you the the mid print where it was kind of being created. Thank you guys so much. I will see you all very soon. Goodbye. And I'm back for part 3. Sorry guys, I thought, you know what, I can't leave you there. So I ended up getting out the Dremel. And if you look here, I basically just managed to like carve a little space in the top. This thing feels solid. I moved the Vitar 2 light from the side of where it was previously, now up onto the top rail of here. And I actually used the Vitar 2 screws that were in that box. So it was weird where, you know, like nothing goes right weirdly, after that kind of like hiccup at the start, everything went right. So this is now what the build looks like. I'm actually very, very happy with this, just in terms of like the ergonomics of this and then the positioning for my thumb. It's a lot better than where it was before. So I don't know, I'm a big fan. We'll see where it goes from here. I could actually just put a foregrip on here if I wanted to do my my little mini claw or something, just so then I've got something to rest my hand on. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That's been my 3D print first experience in airsoft, and I'm actually pretty happy with how it's gone. Speak to you all soon, and have a great day wherever you are. And also wait right now for the 3rd time to look at the print files that are going to be there. Cheers, bye. Okay, so I'm trying to print this handrail. There's a view of it. Handrail right here for the Saiga 12 SBS. I haven't been able to find one anywhere, so I found a file on Colts, and we're going to see how this thing turns out. Okay, so this is the 3D print going on. Hopefully this thing turns out good, and I'm showing you the install video right now. Okay, so here's a little status update. It's looking pretty great so far. One issue that we kind of have is that there's been some supports there that have failed. So these guys here, there's like a little bit of bounce. See there? But this thing could be amazing if it doesn't fail.